Hello, everyone, and welcome back into another week of Indiana in Depth. Max Rezick T-Winkle alongside Rashard Fant. How are we doing this week, Rashard?
Man, I'm good. A little cold, but good. Disappointed in the outcome, obviously, but like we say, each week is starting to get a little tiring. Another week to
Yeah.
hopefully get a W.
So the first thing you mentioned, the cold there, I just wanted to ask you about what is it like, especially playing in a game like IU has this weekend up in Michigan, playing outdoors as the temperatures drop and drop.
Yeah, I was lucky enough not to experience too many cold games, but my junior year we did play Michigan at Michigan in Ann Arbor, and it ended up snowing the whole game, but really bad the second half. And so, as a DB, there's going to be limited opportunities for them to pass because the snow and how hard the ball is. So it's going to be, man on man, a lot of running, physical game. You expect that with Michigan anyway, but it even get heightened to that level. But you just try to forget about it, get by the heaters when you're not on the field. Put some warm skin, we call it. It's just basically like some body lotion oil on to kind of warm you up a little bit. I wear long sleeves. So guys have their different things. You just try to stay as warm as possible.
And I can't imagine. I know when I touch things in the freezing cold, it just like hurts a little extra. I cannot imagine what it's like as a lineman just pounding every play. Whew,
Ooh,
I
yeah,
don't
I
want
do
to think
not know.
about that anymore. So we're going to jump right into our first play. A nice pass over the middle by true freshman QB Donovan McCulley. Just hits Peyton Hendershot on the run there. What did you like about this one?
Yeah, for this one, I think it's a great call by Coach Sheridan. You got a little switch route where you have the receiver running the over with Peyton Hendershot coming behind him on sort of like a wheel route. But then also you get the misdirection with the fake jet sweep. So there's so many dynamics. We know Donovan can run. So right here, he can hand it off to the jet sweep. He can keep it and run. He could hit Peyton like he did, or he can also hit this little swing route with the running back coming out. And so it's just a great job, great call. Get a lot of misdirection, get the eyes for Maryland's defense all over the place. But I'm sure his first read and no mismatch they got was Peyton Hendershot, and who had a great game this game. And it was a great ball, put it in there, great completion to kind of get things rolling for IU after they got off to a little bit of a slow start.
And you mentioned there the motion coming over the middle. Typically, in from what I can see as a football watcher, um, when there's someone coming in motion on the offensive side, usually someone follows on the defense. It doesn't look like there's someone doing that here. Was there a switch in assignment on the defensive side, or was that middle linebacker who ends up covering him just always? Was he just going to follow him regardless of where he was?
No, it's all about scheme. So right here, what happened? The IU receiver went in that jet motion, and they just bumped it. So the DB, the corner out there, he just keyed in on the tight end on that side, while the linebacker knew to push out and pick up that jet motion. And it just depends your defense. You're in a cover zero, people blitzing no help. That corner would have to run across the whole field to stay with that receiver going in motion. But on some of your man-to-man calls, you just bump it, let it go. Linebacker will pick it up. Maybe a safety will come down and pick it up. So it's just about your scheme that week and what you decide to do as the defense.
Definitely a play that true freshman Donovan McCulley looked really good in, throwing a dart to Peyton Hendershot. We'll move right along to our next play. A wonderful special teams play. We saw this a few weeks ago against Idaho. This time it's offensive wide receiver Miles Marshall coming through the gap and blocking the punt. The ball flies up very high in the air, comes down, and Indiana's going to get the turnover on downs and start off with wonderful field position. What'd you like about this one?
Yeah, I mean, anytime we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, but you can get an impact play on special teams, gives you ability to win, gives your offense great field position to score a little easier. And right here, this is a great job by Coach Teagard and dialing it up and showing him and Coach Allen saw throughout the week this might be an opportunity. Getting to a slow start, wanting to bring some momentum, they decided to overload that left side. They have six guys there. I know for one, it's communication by Maryland. You got five guys to block six guys, which is already in trouble. So for me, the long snapper should have probably stayed in and chipped the guy next to him.
Mhm.
Or what they look like they tried to do is that left side guard tries to come across the formation, but it's just too much room, too much area and space to get over there between them. So I was able to get two guys on one. That's every special teams coordinator loves that when you're going to block a kick. And Miles was able to squeeze through there, stay to the side so he doesn't hit the punter and get that big hand out there to get a hand on the ball. And so this is a great play. I'm sure Miles is wishing he got a little bit more on it to hit it back into the end zone so they could score, get a safety. But nonetheless, it's a big play. I believe that IU scored after that play as well. So I think it's just a great play all around, impact play on special teams, which helps you win the game or at least be in a position to win the game.
Yeah, and you mentioned just kind of the advantage that a blocked punt and a play like that on special teams gives you. I saw a statistic, I believe it was teams that block a punt are able to win like 75% of the time. Wanted to take an opportunity to talk about the impact of momentum on a game. So as a defender, you bring it all the way to fourth down, and then you see your special teams go out and make another play. What is it like when you're already feeling good and then you just have just a huge play like a punt block? How much does momentum play into the team's success and how you're feeling down on the field?
Yeah, man, it's definitely one of those great feelings. I speak one as a defender. Oftentimes, we're out there. Sometimes, like I was out there on punt block, on punt return, whether it was returning, blocking on, or blitzing off the edge. But as a team, that momentum's so important, right? You see that all the time in games. Momentum swings, and you hope you have the momentum at the right time, or if you don't, you just hope you can contain the momentum the other team has. So they get a block punt. Maryland gets a stop, that momentum is kind of gone. But what usually happens, a team gets an interception, block punt. That's why they talk about off of turnovers. You get that, or block punts, or long kick returns. If you can score for those, oh man, you just continue to add to your momentum. You also put the other team on edge, which is what you want as a player.
Yeah, so and even across units on a team, like when the offense marches down the field and scores a touchdown, does that really impact you guys on the defense when you come back out? Is that momentum really something that impacts the team?
I would say it definitely can. I also think it's dependent on the game. You get
Mhm.
a game where, just say, for example, you're playing Ohio State and they score, you score, they score, you going back and forth, and it's kind of like, okay, defense don't really have momentum against this offense, but our offense has momentum against the defense. And so it can work both ways, where maybe just one side has it. And we always used to talk about, man, if only, and I'm sure Indiana fans talk about it, if we can just get clicking at the same time, offense gets a rhythm, score, score, score. The defense can then, hey, get a couple stops in a row. Next thing you know, you're up by 14 points, 21 points, just because both sides of the ball are clicking at the same time and keeping that momentum.
This next one we have here is something that we discussed a little bit last week, where two wide receivers cross between each other. You mentioned it's kind of looks like a little bit of a pick route. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, it's obviously the Maryland OC schemed this up right here. And if you look at the number two and number three receivers right there on the right side of the field, we got to cover one right here. The number two receiver, who is that middle receiver, comes in and picks that DB. And so he does a good job of not putting his hands out, not making it clear, looking like he's just running a route. So that's why it wasn't called. But I think as a DB right here, I'm trying to see who he picks. They need to come up. So I think that's Jalen Williams. He needs to come up and press, like get up closer to the line, because as a DB right now, I have two and three close together. That tells me that some switch may occur, some pick route. So I want to be as close as possible, not to be interfered with, and let everybody move freely. And so this was a design play. They're looking for that wheel route, that number three receiver coming out, and they complete it. It's a big play. Safety couldn't get over there in time to help out, but I think it all one starts with alignment. But it's a great scheme and call by Maryland as well.
Yeah, and you mentioned when we were discussing this play off camera a little bit that this probably should have drawn a flag. What about this play kind of potentially goes against the rules?
Yeah, as a DB, anytime you pick that number two coming and blatantly just bumping into the corner right here, Jalen Williams. But the more I look at it now and we replay it, he does a great job of just running and sitting like he's just doing a little stop route.
Yeah.
And so that's why it wasn't called. And I see that now, and our coaches would say that's not going to be called. So you either need to scoot up initially so you won't get hit, or you need to fight through it and stay on your man. Honestly, what I would have probably did here is Bryant and Jalen honestly could have said, hey, what we're going to do, we're in a man. If a guy goes out, you take him. If a guy comes in, I take him. So that little in and out we talked about, you make that call. These are veteran guys, so you can't have a mistake like this. So either Jalen needs to scoot up, change his alignment to make him successful in defending this, or they need to communicate, hey, listen, what we're going to do, I'm going to back up some. You take the first in, I'll take the first out, and we'll figure it out from there.
This matchup happened just a day before Halloween, so I had to throw this one in there. A little bit of trickery from the Indiana special teams. A fake punt. We have not seen this one, I don't believe, up until this point. What did you like about this one?
From one, Indiana special teams unit, keeping them in the game. Again, making a big time play when it's needed. Brian Fitzgerald breaking an initial tackle, getting some extra yards. But this is something Coach Allen, Coach Teagarden, they looked at through the week, seeing how Maryland covers punts, whether they're a heavy pressure team or whether they like to sit back and try to get a return. This is happening at the end of the third quarter. So they've been watching them most of the game. They're down 11. Honestly, Maryland should have been ready for this. Their coaches, hey, they're down 11 late in the third. Watch out for a fake punt. They're close enough to do it. They don't have anything to lose at this point. I mean, bowl game hopes are on the line each week for Indiana. And so it's a great job of knowing that Maryland's going to drop back some guys. They're going to go to try to block and get the return started. And it's a great job of, blocking, getting more blockers on the left side of the field than they had defenders, and Bryant doing the rest running and picking up about 20 yards. So just a great call at the time and great execution by the Indiana punt team, and a fake that we've had in our system for years. We practiced it. I remember when I was there. So I'm glad to see it called and run. It's always a good feeling, and to give you a little energy, momentum, like we talked about earlier, off a, successful fake like this.
And I just want to highlight there a beautiful performance by the punter, James Evans. I mean, I thought the whole way, that's a high snap. He's got it. Nope. Goes straight under the middle to Bryant Fitzgerald. Beautiful performance all the way around. Brings us into our final play. Our final play of the week comes in the fourth quarter with the Hoosiers just down one score. Bit of a blown coverage, unfortunately, by the Indiana defense. And then the Maryland wide receiver is just going to take it to the house after just pretty much wide open green grass ahead of him. What went wrong on this one?
Yeah, it's an unfortunate play for Indiana. Down one score. You've been fighting all game long to have an opportunity to win this game. And, obviously they cut it close still at the end. But right here, I'm thinking about a chance to, get off the field. It's first down, but to start off right, get a negative play, get an incompletion. And so right here looks to me like a communication issue. So right here you have Jalen Williams on this right side as the corner blitzing, which is a cat call. So corner blitz. With that, for me, if he's supposed to be blitzing Raheem Lane, that safety should start working towards this number one receiver, because that's who he has. If the corner has to blitz, somebody has to pick up the corner's man. 10 times out of 10, that is the safety right there. And so if that wasn't it, then it's a miscommunication where Jalen went on a cat call when he wasn't supposed to. And so it's hard to tell which one. But right here, it's, Jalen goes, Raheem's eyes have to get the one, be prepared. By the time this receiver catches the ball, there's about 8 to 10 yards of space in between them. One-on-one open field tackle, one of the hardest things to do in the game. And the Maryland receiver gets the best of Raheem Lane, who normally is, spot on. So definitely a miscommunication on the call, or maybe they got two different calls, whatever it may be, it can't happen. But also Raheem Lane has to find a way to get this receiver out of bounds, get him down to at least save a touchdown. He's not able to, and Maryland, is able to go up by 15 points here and in the fourth, and make it that much harder for Indiana to win this game.
And I mean, we talked about trickery at the beginning of last play, but for this one, Maryland certainly made it seem as though they were going to run one up the gut. Is that kind of maybe where Indiana's defense was looking at, and they just put too much stock in that formation?
I'm not even gonna lie. It looks like that honestly they knew that a blitz was coming from the corner.
Mm-hmm.
He gets his ball out quick. So I don't know if that's the case. If so, that is a heck of a job by the quarterback to know, hey, corner blitz is coming. Let me check quick to my receiver. And I think you know what? That receiver points. You see him point inside like this. He's telling the quarterback, my man is coming. It's a blitz. Be aware. And right there, that lets the quarterback know I'm going to hit him because his safety, Raheem, is in no position to get over there to stop at least a 5-yard completion, let it alone, obviously, a touchdown is what it went for. So this is something that can't happen. You have Jalen Williams, who's been there 3 years, played a lot, second team All Big Ten last year, a veteran. And then you have Raheem Lane, who, although first year starting at safety, has been in the Indiana system for a while. He's a veteran. He's played a lot of football. He knows to communicate. He's been a starter for a while. Got a lot of mental reps and physical. And so that can't happen. As you see there, he got his ankles broke. What he should have probably did more, either shoot your shot full speed and go make the tackle, or keep him on that sideline to where, yeah, he may get even 20, 30 yards, but you got him to the sideline. You can push him out. You live to fight another day. But with this veteran Indiana defense, these are things that cannot happen. And as coaches would say, it's a sign of a bad and losing team. And that is currently what Indiana looks like this season, a bad, undisciplined team, which for the talent they have should not be the case.
A tough break for the Indiana defense, and that score would kind of push it just out of reach as the Hoosiers would eventually score another touchdown and keep it relatively in range, but they end up falling by just 3 points. That's going to do it for Max and Rashard this week. Hopefully the Hoosiers can put up a fight again this weekend in Michigan. But until then, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks so much, Rashard, and thanks for watching.